Hey guys, this is FreeFire from the Tier 1 Ops community, bringing you a short tutorial on how to use the ArmA 3 editor for mission making. Because we've seen that a lot of people are having some trouble with making some basic missions. So, we're gonna make it easier for them. First thing, download the Tier 1 template, I'll link it in the description. And place that in your missions folder because ArmA actually needs to find your mission file. Now you can see I've already done that here, and you basically have to do that in documents. Yeah, I'm from Belgium, so everything's in Dutch. But you have to go to documents, ArmA 3 Alpha, other profiles, then click your profile name, which is FreeFire in my case, head over to missions, and here's the list of the missions you made in the editor. This is one of them, tier 1 template underscore, well, tier 1 underscore template on Stratus. You put that in there, looks like this is in it. And okay, now we're gonna change it up with the editor. Alright, here we are in the editor, and we're gonna start off with loading up our mission. Here we go, tier 1 template, load that up. There we go, here it is. Basically what the templates provide is a bunch of things. It provides a bunch of units which are ready to go. They are being tracked with map markers, they have custom names, the respawn is being handled for them, and they're all set to playable. So you don't have to worry about your units anymore, they're already there for you. Furthermore, this right here is a place where you can spawn all vehicles that are currently in the game, that's land vehicles. And here there's a place to spawn all the helicopters in game. So that's all done and dealt for with scripts for you basically. Now, first thing we need to do when we are building our new mission is changing the name. We don't want it to be named tier 1 template, we want something different. So how do we do that? We head over to Intel. Here we will change the name. This is the name that will actually be displayed to players. Let's change that up. There we go, we make a description. There we go. You can change the date and time. You can change all the weather as much as you want. The time of change is basically how fast the weather changes from the starting settings to the forecasted settings. So you can basically have weather change over time. Independents are friendly to. You can basically change who the independent faction is friendly to. At the moment it doesn't really matter because there is no independent faction. So okay, we confirm that. Thing is, look up here. It's still called template, but it is different here. That's because this one displays the file name. It doesn't display the mission name, so to speak. So to change the file name, we're gonna do that over here in the save as. So we change it to dancing bear. Save as user mission. You can also export here, but that's for later. At the moment, save as user mission. That's while you're still working on it. There we go. Now, there is a problem with this, and we have to go back to the desktop in order for me to show this. Okay, so we're back at the desktop, and we're in our missions folder. Where is it? Dancing bear. You see, I didn't use an underscore. You actually want to do that. I did that over here in the template. They use an underscore. If you use a spacebar, you get these weird file names, which you don't actually want. So yeah, you don't want to just change the file name here because that will fuck things up. So if you open that up, you see where did all my scripts go? There's only a mission.sqm. Well, ArmA doesn't automatically copy that over, so you gotta grab them here, copy them, go back to your mission and paste them here. There we go. Once you've done that, you're good to go. You can go back into the editor. Alright, back in the editor. I like to reload my mission after I've done this sort of stuff. There we go, reload it. So everything should be fine right now. How do I build my mission? Right. So I've already shown you the weather up there. This is cleared, clears everything. Load, save, and save as. Merge, you don't really need that. This is all for scripting, don't need that yet either. This is pretty useful. Switches the textures on and off. This is IDs, which is also used for scripting. Don't really need that. You can change the layout of the editor, but hey, that's all fancy stuff. This is what we actually need. You can switch through these with the function keys. So F1, F2, F3. Or you can just click on them, of course. Tooltips are still work in progress, which, yeah, it's kind of lame, but hey, we can work with it. So, first one, F1, is spawn single unit. This is pretty straightforward. Select the side, faction, select what you want to spawn, which exact unit. Special, that's pretty interesting. None is basically nothing. In cargo is for spawning units in the cargo of a jeep, for example. I'll explain that later. Flying is basically if you use that on a helicopter, it will spawn in the air already with its engines on and flying. So that's pretty useful. Otherwise it will just spawn on the ground. If you put it like on none or information, it will spawn on the ground with the engine off. And information basically places the units in the default formation, which is a wedge, I think. So an infantry squad will stand in a wedge formation. This is the control. If you put it on non-playable, then AI is going to control it. No players can use it. Player, you don't use this in multiplayer. You only use it for single player missions. That's if you have one player. You do use it for previewing your mission, because if you look up here, there's no preview button anywhere. But if I place a player down, which is this one, I can preview. So I could go into the mission and look around. So that's that. Playable. Then they look like this. Then you get the pink circles around them. And that's the actual playable units, which you can select in the lobby screen. Vehicle lock, unlocked and default. Well, they pretty much do the same. They just keep a vehicle unlocked so you can get in it. Locked means no one can get in the vehicle, not even AI. Locked means only players can't get in a vehicle. This is ranks. Basically, the person with the highest rank is the leader of the group. This works for both AI and players. More about groups later. Info edge, you don't need that. Azimuth controls the direction which a unit is facing. However, it's easier to just create a unit. Click on it, hold shift, and you can turn it around by moving the mouse. Much easier. Elevation selects the height of the unit. Name of the unit gives it a name. This is used for scripting. This isn't the name that you see in game. Initialization is for scripts. Description is the actual name. I'll demonstrate this with our units. For example, this Bravo 1 fireteam leader. That's the actual name you see in the lobby. What else? Skill. This only works for AI. This is the damage you want to give as a vehicle or a unit. Fuel and ammunition, pretty easy to understand. Probability of presence is basically if I put it at 50% and I start a mission, then there's a 50% chance that the unit will actually spawn. So it might be there one time I play the mission, the next time I play it, it might not be there. This could be useful if you're trying to randomize your mission a bit. And these two things, yeah, don't touch them, you don't really need them. Okay, groups. Basically, you see these lines in between units. So F2, that's groups, the grouping tool. Oh, this is easier. You see these lines in between the units. Basically, they all point to the leader of that group. If you want to change this, like get this guy out of the group, you just use your group tool and you drag a line off of him, let it go, and then he's ungrouped. And if you want to group him again, you just connect them. Easy as that. The other thing for which this tool can be used is double click, and then you can select whatever you want. Motorized anti-armor team, bam, and I got a team with a vehicle and infantry grouped together, good to go. All I need to do is give them orders. So it's pretty easy to spawn multiple units like this. You don't have to all spawn them separately. But if you want, you could make your custom groups, like spawn a bunch of units. Spawn a different one. Spawn another different one. There we go. You see they automatically group to that guy, so I'm gonna ungroup them for now. So let's say I want this to be a group, I can just group them together. And there you go, now I have a custom group. This right here is triggers. Too complicated for now, not gonna use it. This is waypoint mode. If you double click like this, it does nothing. But if you select a unit, and you double click then, you get this. So a bunch of different orders you can give a unit. The ones we're going to use are move and cycle. I'll explain those in a bit. Waypoint order is for switching between multiple waypoints. Placement radius. So basically, let me just give you, this is a normal waypoint. So basically the unit will go over there, step right on top of that marker, as close as it can get, and then continue on its next waypoint. But if I add a placement radius of say 20, see this dotted line, basically this waypoint won't be exactly on that position, it will be placed somewhere within this 20-meter radius. This adds a bit of randomness to the game. And if you add a completion radius of like say 10, that's the full line. Basically the unit doesn't have to get right on top of the waypoint, it gets within 10 meters and it will already complete the waypoint and move to the next one. This can be useful for planes or vehicles because they can't navigate that extremely precise. So that's that. This is basically a wait timer. It works in seconds, so if I put 10 in here, that's the minimum wait time. It has to wait a minimum of 10 seconds. This is the maximum wait time. So maximum of 20 seconds, so it will wait somewhere in between. And I'll put this on 15, then it's exactly split down the middle. If I put 11 here, then there will be more chance that it will be waiting somewhere in between 10 and 11 seconds, and less chance that it will be waiting somewhere in between 11 and 20. So that's how that works. This is the interesting stuff. Basically, you give him a waypoint with never fire, then these guys will never shoot. They will just follow their waypoints. If you give them hold fire, they won't engage when they see you, but if you engage them, they will shoot back. But they will keep following their waypoints. If you use hold fire engage at will, basically what they do is they will chase you as soon as you attack them and engage you. With hold fire, they won't chase you. With open fire, they will just start shooting at you, but still follow the waypoints. If you use open fire engage at will, they will follow the waypoints until they see you, start shooting at you, and they will chase you until you're dead or they've lost you, and then they will return to the waypoints. I mostly use this one. Then formation. I suggest you Google these if you don't know what they are, but it's basically the formation in which the units march. You can choose either one, doesn't really matter. Speed. Limited is walking, normal is jogging, and full is sprinting. I like limited for patrols, but for like quick reaction forces, for example, you could use full. Behavior. Careless is basically they will walk and ignore everything. Even if you shoot at them, hit them, they will ignore everything. They just follow the waypoints. They won't shoot, just follow waypoints. That's all they do. Safe is the standard behavior. They will walk around with their weapons lowered, like they don't know that there are enemies nearby. Aware is basically they move with their weapons up. They move in a tactical fashion, but still in their standard formation. In combat, they will basically move from cover to cover, go prone, take cover. They'll generally have, they'll need a lot more time to move in between two waypoints because they're constantly ducking for cover and stuff. Basically, they move as if they are under fire, even though they're not being shot at. And stealth is the units will go prone and try to sneak as much as possible. Well, they try. I mean, it's still AI. They're not that good at it, but hey. And this stuff you don't touch. Yeah. So I like to put these guys on safe. This is the stuff that I mostly use. And like that you can make a patrol. So now you would think like, oh no, I have to change this all again because I didn't remember it. But no. this no change function basically says like don't change anything compared to the previous waypoint. So I can just keep placing extra waypoints and it will remember the previous one. Now, okay, I want these guys to walk in this like squarish shape. But problem is, as soon as they reach this waypoint, they'll be done moving. So basically I need to do something about that. How do you do that? You add a cycle waypoint, and you see if you move it close enough, it automatically connects to the previous waypoint, and this way you can get them to keep on moving in this circle forever until they're dead. So that's how you keep patrol going around the base, for example. Okay, I've set up an example over here of an enemy infantry fire team that's following a patrol around the base. So you can look at that if you want, it's part of the template. This is the synchronize tool, you don't need it. This is the marker tool. You saw the markers pop up there probably. If you double click, you can place a marker. So icon allows you to use any icon, any color. Give it a name, you can't place markers without a name. If you want to give it a text that shows up on the map, you can say it like this, and then you got a marker, hello. If you remove this, then it's just a marker. No one can delete these because they're part of the mission, so that's pretty useful. What else can you do? Oh yeah, you can also make rectangles, for example. Here you can change how big they are, so let's make this like 100, for example. Then it's like this. You can also change them into ellipses, which you can make a circle if you make the both axes the same. There you go. Oh yeah, note you can't place text in these things because it doesn't show up. But other than that, it's pretty neat. This last thing is modules. You don't really need them. Maybe the one thing you might want to look into is effects. Then you can set like filters. But yeah, I don't like these things. I actually hate them. If you want to use them, then all you gotta do is go to effects, select them, press OK, and bam, it works. That's all you have to do. So basically all you have to do is spawn your units, like this one for example, give them some waypoints, add a couple markers like over here. Let's say we use this. And we make it nice and red to show that it's enemy. Bam, enemy HQ, and then they know they have to move towards it. There you go. Place some units and it's all good. Now, as soon as you're done with building your mission, what you have to do then is, so you save it in the meanwhile all the time, but you're saving it as a user mission basically. You won't be able to play it in multiplayer. If you want to play it in multiplayer, what you have to do is hit this button, export to multiplayer missions, hit OK, and bam, it will have exported to multiplayer missions. Now to prove that it did, and to check that it worked, you leave the editor, you hit multiplayer, and you hit new at the bottom. You make a server, LAN, it's on a local area network, so no one will be able to get in, unless you got a LAN at home. Then you select your mission, Dancing Bear, you see it shows up, so that's a good sign already. And then you can play it, test it out. There's a good way to test your mission before you actually throw it on a real server. You can try that like this, join up, hit OK, go inside, and check it all out. So I'll just load it up real quick. Bam, there we go, we got a couple markers up. We hit continue. Quick load times. Or maybe not. Should I cut this out? No, because I'm lazy. There we go. So, there we go. I spawned. Worked perfectly. We'll head over here. Here are these crates. And these crates actually have the function to spawn stuff. This is a good way to test if you copied the scripts correctly. And then you hit this and bam, there you go. You spawn the helicopter. Good to go. Can get in it. So, good sign. Scripts all worked. And let me see. Yeah, there we go. The unit marker is also on the map. So everything works. And that is it basically for this tutorial. That's all you need to know. Now you should be able to make missions.